Congratulations on the purchase of your new Tennant Sentinel Power Sweeper. Not only will this machine perform well with its highly efficient sweeping and dust control systems the day you receive it, but for a long time to come. Along with an understanding of the control systems and how to operate the machine, this video will teach you the steps required to affirm the machine is ready to perform effectively. You'll also learn the processes of emptying and cleaning the machine, and how to operate some of the optional equipment. It is the operator's responsibility to fully understand the operation of the machine and to adhere to all safety-related issues as addressed in the operator's manual. Before using the machine, refer to the operator's manual for complete instructions on how to safely operate it. First, let's review how the Sentinel works. As the machine is propelled forward with the sweeping systems turned on, debris is pulled from the sides of the machine path by the side brush and into the path of the main sweeping brush. The main sweeping brush throws the debris into a conveyor system that carries it up to a hopper opening on the top front side of the debris hopper. To facilitate dust control, a set of vacuum fans pull air and dust from the main brush compartment through the conveyor system and into the hopper, where a synthetic water-resistant filter removes the dust from the air. The cleaned air is then exhausted through the rear of the machine. Next, we'll explain how the control functions work and how to operate the machine. The key switch is mounted on the dash panel to the right of the steering wheel column. The parking brake must be turned on before the ignition switch will start the engine. Turn the ignition switch to the start position to start the engine. If environmental conditions are too cold to start the engine, a preheat system will automatically activate when the key is turned to the on position. As long as preheat is active, a wait to start indication is displayed on the touchscreen. When the wait to start indication deactivates, usually after 5 to 30 seconds, depending on the weather conditions, the engine is ready to start. Turn the ignition switch to the start position to start the engine. Turning it backward stops the engine. The directional control switch is mounted on the instrument panel to the left of the steering wheel column. This switch has 3 positions: a forward position for forward travel, a neutral position when not propelling, and the rear position for travel in reverse. To the left of the directional switch is the parking brake switch. When the top of the switch is pressed, the parking brake is on and the switch will illuminate. Press the bottom of the switch to turn off the parking brake. The propelling speed control is a foot-operated pedal. This pedal is used for normal sweeping speed control and transporting the machine to the sweeping location or dump site. The service brake pedal should be used to stop the machine. Pressing the brake pedal will also illuminate the brake lights located on the rear of the machine to alert the persons around the machine you're stopping. The steering wheel can be tilted to the operator's comfort. On the left side of the steering column are controls for the parking lights, low and high beam headlights, turn signals, and horn. Controls for the windshield washer and wipers are on the right side of the steering column. The driver's seat is equipped with a lever to adjust the forward and backward position of the seat. A firmness control knob on the front of the seat adjusts it for operator comfort. Note, unless the operator is in the operator's seat, the propelling system will be disabled. Each seat is equipped with a lap-type seat belt and use is highly recommended. In front of the operator, above the windshield, is a set of switches that control the operational lights, some of which are optional. The switch functions from left to right are the 4-way flasher switch, the flashing beacon switch, the side brush spotlight switch, the optional front night sweeping light switch, and the optional rear night sweeping light switch. If the machine is equipped with the optional pressure washer, the switch that controls the pressure washer pump is also located here. In the center of the cab is the optional radio, and to its left is the optional light bar control console. Refer to the operator's manual if your machine is equipped with these options. The dome light switch is mounted on the dome light. On the right side of the front center console are two USB ports. The lower USB port is used by a service technician to interface with the machine. The upper USB port is used by a supervisor to download operator checklist results, if that option is activated. This port is also capable of charging Apple and Android phones. A standard automotive-style 12-volt accessory socket is also available for charging small devices. To the left of the operator, near the windshield, is the LCD instrument panel display. This panel displays engine system conditions and provides other important functions and messages. If the login screen is enabled, the login screen will appear and a personal code is required to use the machine. Once the personal login code is entered, press the Enter button on the screen to continue. If the operator checklist option is enabled, a series of pre-operational check procedures is displayed. The operator needs to perform each check and then press the checkmark button if the item inspected was OK, or the X mark if that item was not OK. After all the questions on the screen are answered, the down arrow on the right should be pressed to continue. After all questions have been answered, the operator can choose the Enter button to save the checklist and open the home screen. When the engine is started, the operator is required to check the gauges and press the Accept button. The engine RPM will increase to 1400 RPM, while the hydraulic systems bring all the systems to their normal position and then lower to 900 RPM. The engine RPM can be set for any required operation. The normal sweeping engine RPMs are between 1600 and 1950 RPM. The normal sweeping speed is between 3 and 5 miles per hour or 5 and 8 kilometers per hour. The engine RPM must be between 1600 and 2200 RPM to transport the machine from one location to another without sweeping. The top transport speed of the machine is 25 miles per hour or 40 kilometers per hour. In all regions except the United States, the operator can toggle between miles per hour and kilometers per hour by pressing the MPH or KMH letters on the screen. The amount of fuel remaining in the fuel tank is indicated by the gauge at the bottom of the display. When the tank is full, all 8 bars are green. As the fuel is used, the bars will go out from right to left. When there are 3 bars remaining, they will turn yellow. Filling the fuel tank is recommended. When there is only 1 bar remaining, it will turn red and the pump icon will flash yellow. At this point, the fuel tank must be filled. The engine coolant temperature indicator will indicate when the coolant is normal or when it is too hot. If the indicator is green, the coolant temperature is normal. If the coolant temperature is getting high, the indicator will turn yellow. If the coolant temperature is critically high, the indicator will turn red and the coolant temperature icon will flash yellow. The engine oil pressure indicator will indicate when the oil pressure is normal or low. If the indicator is green, the engine oil pressure is normal. If the oil pressure is getting low, the indicator will turn yellow. If the oil pressure is critically low, the indicator will turn red and the engine oil pressure icon will flash yellow. The battery charging system indicator will indicate when the battery is charging normally or abnormally. If the indicator is green, the battery is being charged normally. If the charging system is charging under the normal range, the indicator will turn yellow. If the charging system is charging critically under the normal range, the indicator will turn red and the engine battery icon will flash yellow. If your machine is equipped with the emissions control package, there is a DEF, or diesel exhaust fluid tank, on your machine. The DEF tank level indicator reflects the amount of DEF fluid in the tank. If the indicator is green, the DEF tank has sufficient fluid. If the DEF tank is getting low, the indicator will turn yellow. If the DEF tank is critically low, the indicator will turn red and the DEF level icon will flash yellow. Also, if your machine has the emission control package, you will see 3 other icons on the left side of the screen above the DEF tank level indicator. These icons are related to the engine and emission systems. First is the exhaust temperature indicator icon. When the emission system is regenerating, the exhaust temperature will increase. When it is very hot, the icon is highlighted in yellow. This is normal. Care should be taken to keep the exhaust away from combustible materials. Next, there is an engine fault indicator. If the fault indicator is yellow, there is a general fault with the engine systems. The operator should stop using the machine and have the issue taken care of. If the fault indicator is red, there is a critical fault with the engine systems. The engine must be turned off and the issue taken care of. Failure to turn off the engine when a critical fault occurs could cause major engine damage. Above the engine fault indicator is the regeneration status indicator. Pressing the regeneration status indicator opens a confirmation box. You can choose yes to confirm you want to start the regeneration process or no to not start it. When the regeneration icon is yellow, the emission system is regenerating. You can continue to operate the machine normally when regeneration is active. You have the option to inhibit normal regeneration if the conditions where the machine is being used do not allow it. However, inhibiting the normal regeneration is not recommended unless required by the situation. It is important that you fully understand the emission system's operations. Read and understand the operator's manual for the complete details. On the right side of the display are 3 icons. The bottom icon will flash yellow if there is a general fault you need to attend to. If the icon flashes red, there is a critical fault you need to attend to. Touching the flashing fault icon will display faults that currently exist. Touching either the left or right arrow will scroll through the fault screens. Only existing faults will be displayed. Above the fault indicator is the turn signal or flashers on indicator. Above that is the high beam headlights indicator. In the top center section of the display are 3 icons. We'll provide a quick overview of these buttons. Refer to the operator's manual for more information. From left to right, they are the help, the camera, and the setup icons. When the help icon is pressed, a screen is displayed to allow you to change the language for menu displays, log in as a different user, view a help screen for this panel, view a short startup training video, and view firmware information. To change the language from menus, press the Select Language button at the top of this screen. Choose the language you want displayed and press the Home button. Pressing the Controls Help button will display a helpful description of each screen icon in the chosen language. Pressing the Home button will return you to the main screen. Pressing the Back button will return you to the previous screen. To view a short startup video, press the Startup Video button. The About button will show machine firmware information. Pressing the Home button returns you to the main screen. Pressing the camera icon will turn on the Performance View camera. With the rear view camera turned on, you can see behind the machine to evaluate the performance of the machine. With the camera turned on, you can either press the right arrow or left arrow next to the camera display image to view a side brush camera view. If the view is of a side brush, you can press the down arrow at the bottom of the display image to return to the rear view. After a short period, the cameras will automatically turn off, or you can touch anywhere in the display image to turn it off. When the machine is traveling faster than normal sweeping speeds, the cameras will automatically turn off. When you put the directional switch in reverse, the rear camera will turn on and remain on until the directional switch is placed in the forward or neutral position. The gear icon provides the operator with some configuration options. Refer to the operator's manual for guidance in using this feature. Below these icons are the hour meter, clock, and odometer. The hour meter displays the total hours of engine operation to the nearest tenth of an hour. Once set correctly by the supervisor, the clock displays the current time to the nearest minute. The odometer displays the total distance the machine has propelled to the nearest tenth of a mile or kilometer. The panel on the center console to the left of the operator controls many of the functions of the machine. This panel is segmented by operation. Starting at the top are the engine RPM controls. Pressing the rabbit button will increase the engine speed. Pressing the turtle button will decrease the engine speed. The engine system has a noise reduction feature that reduces the engine RPM when the machine is stopped. If it is desired, you can press the rabbit button to override the feature and have the engine RPM remain at the set speed. The feature is reset to normal operation when the brake pedal is pressed again. If the machine is equipped with the left-hand side brush, pressing this button will enable or disable that brush. All machines are equipped with the right-hand side brush. Pressing this button will enable or disable that brush. The one-step sweep button turns on and lowers or turns off and raises the main brush and conveyor. The vacuum fans also come on when the one-step sweep button is pressed, but they can be turned off if vacuumized sweeping is not required, like in wet sweeping conditions. Pressing the vacuum fan button will enable or disable the vacuum fans. If a side brush or both side brushes are enabled when the one-step button is pressed, they will also turn on and lower. The machine will remember the last brush configuration used and return to that configuration each time the one-step button is pressed to start sweeping. While sweeping in dusty conditions, it is good to stop sweeping and shake the filter to improve dust control. To use the shaker system, press the one-step sweeping button to stop the sweeping systems and reduce the engine RPM to idle using the turtle button. Then press the shaker button and the machine will wait for the vacuum fans to slow down and start shaking the filter. The shaker is timed and will automatically turn off so you can resume sweeping. Before dumping the machine, it is highly recommended you run the shaker system. If the conveyor becomes jammed while sweeping, an alarm will sound. You should stop sweeping and reverse the conveyor by pressing the reverse conveyor button. This will reverse the conveyor and the main brush to dislodge the jam. If the machine is equipped with the wet dust control system, you can improve dust control by pressing the water pump switch to activate the optional water pump. This pump dispenses water in front of the side or vario brush assemblies through nozzles. The flow volume to each brush is controlled by the flow control valves on the center console to the left of the operator. The pump switch and flow control valves should be turned off when not in use. The hopper positions and dump door controls are in the next section of this panel. The hopper controls will not function until the sweeping systems have been turned off and the parking brake has been set on, or the foot brake is depressed. Note: before raising the hopper, confirm there is plenty of clearance to overhead obstacles. If your machine is a high dump machine, you press and hold the hopper raise button. When the button is released, the hopper will stop in its current position. To lower the hopper, press and hold the hopper lower button. To tilt the hopper back, press and hold the hopper tilt out button. To tilt the hopper back in, press and hold the hopper tilt in button. When the hopper is in position for dumping, press the hopper door open button to dump the hopper. The hopper door latch should not be used until the hopper is completely lowered and tilted into the home position. Once the hopper is in the home position, press the hopper door latch button to lock the door shut. If the latch is closed before the hopper is completely home, you will need to unlatch and then relatch the door. The last button on this panel is the override button. If a condition exists that caused the engine to shut down, the machine needs to be started and moved to a safe location away from traffic. The override button can be pressed to start the engine and move the machine. This feature is only to be used when absolutely required. Prolonged use of this feature can cause extensive damage to the engine. Refer to the operator's manual for guidance in using this feature. Above the center control panel are three knobs. The left knob controls the heater temperature level. The center knob controls the heat, air conditioning, and cab pressurizing fan speed. Even when the heat and air conditioning are off, the fan should be turned on to pressurize the cab. This aids in keeping dust out of the cab. The right knob controls the air conditioning temperature level. Before these systems can operate efficiently, there are a few checks that need to be made and some lubricants applied. You should refer to the daily operator checklist provided with your machine while you perform these checks and apply lubricants. The engine air intake should be checked to confirm there is nothing blocking the air intake. Check the engine oil level. If low, add enough of the recommended engine oil to bring the level up to the full mark. Check the fluid level of the windshield solvent bottle and fill as required. Check the hydraulic fluid level to confirm it is in the lower section of the sight gauge on the tank. As the hydraulic fluid warms up, the level will rise to the center of the sight gauge where it should be when the oil is warm. Note, the hydraulic fluid level should only be checked with the hopper lowered. Next, remove the right main brush compartment cover and check the skirt condition. Check the right main brush compartment skid for wear. At this point, start the engine, turn on the sweeping systems to lower the conveyor and main brush, and turn off the engine. Lubricate the right lower conveyor bearing and each end of both main brush carriage drag links. Note, the conveyor bearings require lubrication after each 8 hours of operation. Check the main brush for debris and wear. Then, reinstall the right main brush compartment cover and secure it. If the machine is equipped with dry dust control, it will be necessary to remove the side brush dust control skirts when inspecting the side brush assemblies. Check the right side brush and motor shaft for anything wrapped around them. Also, check the side brush assembly for wear or damage. If equipped with wet dust control, you should check the spray nozzles for each brush as you work around the machine. Also, as you work your way around the machine, check all tires for damage and proper inflation. At this point, with the parking brake set, the engine should be started and the hopper door opened by pressing the hopper door open switch. Then, turn off the engine. Note, when the engine is started, the sweeping system will return to the normal up position. Make sure that anyone near the machine is clear of moving components. Check the hopper door seal condition. Next, remove the left main brush compartment cover and check the skirt condition. Check the left main brush skid and brush for wear. At this point, start the engine, turn on the sweeping systems to lower the conveyor, and turn off the engine. Lubricate the left lower conveyor bearing and each end of both main brush carriage drag links. Reinstall the left main brush compartment cover and secure it. If the machine is equipped with the optional left side brush, check the brush and motor shaft for anything wrapped around them. Also, check the side brush assembly for wear and damage. Open the side door and check the coolant level sight gauge in the top of the radiator. Coolant should be visible in the sight gauge. If the machine is equipped with the optional Vario brush assembly, check for leaks, damage, and brush wear. Next, turn on all the lights and walk around the machine to make sure they are all working. Then, return to the cab and check for proper overhead clearance. 10 feet 1 inch for low dump machines, 16 feet 8 inches for high dump machines. Then, start the engine and tilt the hopper back by pressing and holding the hopper tilt-out switch. Anytime you will be working around the hopper when it is raised or tilted, you must use the hopper safety devices. The tilt safety device is the same for either low or high dump machines. To deploy the hopper tilt safety device, remove the safety pin from the storage position on the right rear of the machine and place it in the tube between the hopper tilt cylinders. At this time, you can also visually inspect the hopper to conveyor seal for damage. With the engine speed set to idle, press and release the conveyor directional control switch to run the conveyor in reverse. While standing off to the side of the machine, watch the conveyor system run to confirm there is no problem and listen for irregular noises. The O-rings and the chain links require cleaning and lubrication with engine oil each day or after each 8 hours of operation. Chain cleaning and oiling ports are provided on each side of the conveyor to make cleaning and oiling the chain O-rings easier. With the engine speed set to idle and the conveyor still running in reverse, wash both chains with a low-pressure water hose through the provided ports. Stay clear of the conveyor paddles while you wash out the conveyor through the hopper opening. Next, oil each chain through the ports and secure the port covers. When finished, remove and store the tilt safety device. If your machine is a high dump machine, start the engine and raise the hopper by pressing and holding the hopper raise switch. Remember, for the hopper to be moved, the parking brake must be on, or the foot brake depressed. Next, turn off the engine. Note once again, anytime you will be working around the hopper when it is raised, you must use the hopper safety devices. The hopper up safety device is stored in the same area as the tilt safety device. It must be placed between the lift cylinders on the rear of the machine to provide the needed protection. Next, remove and store the hopper dump safety device and then start the engine. Lower the hopper and tilt it down into its working position. Turn off the engine and complete the pre-operation checklist. Now, let's put the controls and your machine to work. Once the engine is started and warmed up for a few minutes, increase the engine RPM to a sweeping speed between 1600 RPM and 1950 RPM, as required by sweeping conditions, and check the system's indicators like oil pressure, coolant temperature, and the charging system. By pressing the one-step sweeping switch, the main brush and conveyor lower. Then, these systems and the vacuum fans turn on. If the side brush or brushes are to be used, they will need to be turned on. By placing the directional control switch in the forward position and depressing the sweeping speed foot pedal, the operator can control the sweeping speed of the machine to around 3 to 5 miles per hour or 5 to 8 kilometers per hour for normal sweeping. When sweeping leaves, the conveyor can be placed in the leaf sweeping position. To engage the leaf sweeping position conveyor blocks, make sure the conveyor is raised and the parking brake is engaged and the engine is turned off. Next, open the engine conveyor compartment doors and place both conveyor blocks in the leaf sweeping position. When you sweep with the machine, the conveyor will lower to a position that allows better leaf sweeping performance. Conveyor blocks on both sides of the machine must be deployed or not deployed for proper machine performance. To stop sweeping, press the one-step sweeping switch. It is recommended that each time you stop sweeping, you use the dust filter shaker system. To dump the debris collected, drive the machine to the dump site. If the machine is a high dump model, press the hopper lift switch and hold it until the hopper is at the desired dumping height. If the hopper will not rise, the machine may be on an incline and the inclinometer has disabled the high dump controls, or the parking brake is not on. If the parking brake is on and the hopper will not rise, drive the machine to a level surface. Next, press the hopper tilt switch and hold it until the hopper is fully tilted. Then, press the hopper door open switch. Return the hopper to the lowered and tilted in position, then latch the hopper door. Once you are done cleaning with the machine, there are a few steps that will aid in keeping the machine operating at its optimum level. You should wash the conveyor systems with a low-pressure water hose and lubricate the conveyor chain O-rings as shown before. You can wash out the hopper and filter system with low-pressure water if required. There are a few options that you will need to know how to operate if they are installed on your machine. If the machine is equipped with an optional Vario brush, you will find a control panel on the door to the right of the operator. Before you use the Vario brush, be sure to remove the keeper pin from the transport pin. It is located on the Vario brush assembly. There are 3 switches and a joystick that control the Vario brush. The switch on top of the control unit lets you control the 2 joystick functions. Pressing the switch to the left side lets the joystick control the Vario brush tilt angles for best performance. Pressing the switch to the right side lets the joystick control the Vario brush arm position. Pushing the joystick forward swings the Vario brush arm to the left. Pulling it back swings the Vario brush arm to the right. Pushing it to the left moves the arm to the left side of the machine, and pushing it to the right moves the arm to the right side of the machine. On the side of the Vario brush control panel are 2 switches. The one toward the front of the machine raises and lowers the Vario brush arm. The switch toward the rear of the machine controls the direction of the Vario brush. If the switch is placed in the forward position, the brush turns clockwise. If the switch is placed in the rear position, the Vario brush turns counterclockwise. If the switch is placed in the middle position, the brush does not turn. When you are finished using the Vario brush, you will need to raise it all the way up, shift it to the right, swing it all the way back to the right side of the machine, and then shift it to the left until the transport pin engages in the stationary mount. Once this is done, the keeper pin can be placed in the transport pin. Next, we will cover the setup and use of the optional pressure washer system. Fill the solution tank with water. Do not use detergent in the tank or damage to the pump can occur. Start the engine and set the RPM to idle. Roll the hopper back to gain access to the tool tray and turn off the engine. Remove the hopper tilt safety pin from the tool tray and install it in the safety device. Remove the pressure wand and hose from the tool tray and assemble them using the quick couplings on them and the pump valve. Turn on the pressure wand pump switch. The minimum and maximum spray pressure can be set with the knob on the pump valve. The spray pattern of the wand itself can be controlled by the operator. With the pump knob set to minimum, the nozzle of the wand can be turned to reduce the output pressure so it can be used for washing the chains and the conveyor. High pressure cleaning should not be used to clean the chains because damage to the chain O-rings could occur. Note, there is a float switch in the water tank that will turn off the pump if you run out of water. Once you have finished using the pressure washer pump switch should be turned off. The engine should be shut off, the pressure released, and the wand handle removed from the hose. Both the wand and the hose should be carefully stored in the tool tray. The safety pin can then be removed from the safety device and placed in the tool tray, the engine started, and the hopper lowered. Let's review the vacuum wand system. To set up the vacuum wand for use, first start the engine and roll the hopper back. Remove the vacuum wand door tool from the right side of the machine. Lower the vacuum wand door to cover the conveyor opening. Put the vacuum wand door tool back in the holder and lower the hopper to the working position. Increase the engine to full governed engine RPM and then press the vacuum fan switch. Note, when using the vacuum wand system, wear hearing protection at all times. Remove the retaining cable clip from the rear of the hopper and remove the retaining clips from the vacuum wand tube. When you have finished using the vacuum wand, return it to its stored position and reinstall the clips. Reduce the engine RPM to idle, turn off the vacuum fans, raise the hopper, raise the vacuum wand door, lower the hopper, and turn off the engine. Performing the daily service and checks and following the proper operating procedures for your Tennant Sentinel Power Sweeper will ensure that it will perform in top condition throughout its useful lifetime. You'll find it cleans better, has fewer maintenance issues, effectively enhances your work environment, and we're sure you'll be happy with your Sentinel Power Sweeper for a long time.